Hello, and we're back with the second episode of Seasons of Life. Thank you for your wonderful response to the first one. You see, it's all about stories and stories which are real about your life and our life and how and what we experience. It could be a next door neighbor, it could be you, it could be anyone else who's going through experiences and situations which mold them, shape them, make them what they are, sometimes into heroes, sometimes learning to fight their own battles, emotional, and how it shapes them. And did they learn from it? Or did they have to take help? Did their battles matter enough for them to convert it into something concrete, something positive? We have with us today a gentleman who has been able to, as he says in his own words, conquer his fears. There were many fears which had dominated his life, and as we know, fear is one thing that is part of all our lives. We are impacted by it. We are fearful of. Think for yourself, what all are you fearful about? Isn't there everything which can make you fearful around you? You fear for your child's health. You fear, oh my God, if I drink this, am I going to put on weight? Or if I eat this, will I become fat? Or you fear for the health of children or people around you, fear for your job, and many other kinds of fears. But let's find out from this gentleman whose name is Shreyas Trivedi. He is an enterprising retail and business leader with 25 years experience in lifestyle retail. So that's the corporate part of him and his journey through it, fighting through his fears. But not only that, he maintained a parallel life, balancing his corporate with the metaphysical world. And his journey into the metaphysics and how it happened, along with the fears and how he conquered them. Let's find out from him. Let's call in Shreyas Trivedi. Hello, Shreyas, and welcome to Seasons of Life. Thank you for
Hello,
being with
Aarti. How
us.
are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Excellent.
Okay. So, as I was telling my viewers, that you have been one person who's a supreme example of learning how to battle all the odds, not the odds of daily living, but just one aspect of emotion which has helped and propelled you forward. We'll find out
Mhm.
more about that later. But first, let's start with knowing you. Tell me, what have you been doing? What is your profession or what did you do till now? I know you're a corporate bigwig. What did you do?
So I'm into fashion industry since last 25 years.
Right.
And I'm into leadership role and building businesses and channels
Mm-hmm.
for retail and fashion. So that's been my profession all these years.
Okay. So 25 years you have spent in this line. And yes, you have achieved many milestones. I know about that. Tell me, if the Shreyas of today looks back at the Shreyas of, let's say, 20 years old, when he was just starting out in this world, what would he say to him?
So it was a very fresh experience during those days, during my young years.
Yeah.
I was starting to learn and starting to take my first few steps towards the life. I've completed my education and I had my plans of doing my business. And the most important thing is I was very much inclined towards metaphysical life
Okay.
because my mother gave me a book during my early years, and that changed completely my view towards looking at life.
Mm-hmm.
So the book was written by Florence Scovel Shinn,
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
name is The Game of Life and How to Play It.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a metaphysical book, beautiful book, and the book Secret is also based on this book.
I see. But let me
Yes,
just interrupt you here. Game of life and how to play it. Metaphorically, somehow it sort of became the reason for how your life shaped up too. Am I correct in saying that?
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
So I started picking up clues, I started learning, and I started developing myself during those years. At the same time, after completing my education, I also got into a relationship
Mm-hmm.
and planned to marry a girl
Mm-hmm.
who was from my hometown. But
Okay.
I being a Gujarati and she being a Maharashtrian,
Okay. So the
that is
okay.
how that is how our relationship started, and we decided to get together.
Okay.
So that is
So
the
two
starting point.
so two lovely states adjacent to each other decided to become one by marriage. How beautiful. And then what happened? But was there a
So
time when life knocked you down? I mean, it went smoothly, or then did things change, or what happened? What
so
happened?
initially, yes, we took some time to convince our parents, and they did get convinced, and ultimately we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And then the journey started, and how I and my family were trying to bring a harmonious balance between each of us is what the journey was all about.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though I was interested in doing a business or conducting a business, because I was getting married, it was very important for me to create a secured life for my marriage and for my would-be wife.
Yeah.
So that led me to, drop all my those years of current plans, and I started looking for a job, and I got into a job. So 25 years back, I got into job, a corporate job, and also to complete my responsibilities. This is the first step which I took and started my journey.
So you
And
mentioned that there were other things that you wanted to do, but because of this choice of wanting to get married, you wanted to start earning and get a job, right? And did this somehow impact you because there were decisions at a younger age to make whereby you moved away from a comfort of what you thought was comfortable to you and coming into a job, which was the emotion that dominated at that time? I mean, you must have gone through a whole mix of emotions: family, home, you, your wife. What happened?
so there was a difference of culture, and
Okay,
I was trying to create a balance
okay.
within my family. And at the same time, I was working towards my career
Mm-hmm,
and moving towards my future goals along with it.
mm-hmm,
That was the time when I had to, live a little away from my home
mm-hmm.
because of my job being into a plant which was 60 kilometers from my hometown.
Okay.
And that is where my quest was, that how do I bring my family together? And the decision came at last at one point of time where my support of the family was no more, and my support of my wife was with me. And that is the time I, you know, really stood by myself and started this journey. And the biggest dominant emotion that I started living was fear.
Why?
So
Because this
so
was a
it gave
choice you
me
made, mentally.
a
Why do you
choice.
say
Yes,
fear?
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Fear is something which gave me, the sense of insecurity gave me fear. The sense of anxiety gave me fear. The sense of helplessness gave me fear. And the future, which was uncertain for me and in my thoughts, started giving me a lot of fear. And I started living it continuously from that day.
Okay. So did this
And
fears kind of impact you to an extent that you became fearful of fear, or what did you do to it?
so I used to take my all decisions because of that.
Oh, okay.
It was a dominant feature in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking at solutions to overcome the fear. And different solutions. Sometimes I used to look around solutions from Vastu. Sometimes I used to look around the solutions from an astrologer and whatnot to overcome this fear and to create stability in my mind. And that is where things started moving towards. It was not that my professional career was not helpful or, my environment was not conducive. Everything was fine, but something which I was creating in my mind was projecting out around me inside and outside. So I
If
was reflecting my
yeah,
fears in the environment and my world.
if you look back, you said you had a good career, but the fear seemed to have been a dominant feature in your life. How do you kind of analyze it today, and see that that fear, because there would be a lot of other people in life, who get impacted and create fears at their workspace. Was the fear coming because of people's behavior towards you? Was it coming because you were not able to manage things as a balance between you and your family? Or was it coming because you generated it because you thought, I am the helpless one and I am not able to take care of things, and how should I overcome them? What did you do?
So I was grappling with a little bit of everything. I was generating it
I
and
see.
I was projecting. Now, when I look back, I was projecting it. Now, when I look back, I was creating it. So there is an internalization and externalization. When you externalize, you say that, wo kata mujhe chuba. And
Hmm.
when you internalize, you say that I stepped on the thorn. So
Right.
this is the difference which I realized during
So
that
you
period
were
of time.
stepping on thorns or you were getting pricked by the thorns?
I was getting pricked by the thorns then. And this was a journey which was moving towards the path which I am destined to.
Right. That learning came then or it came now
So
about
that
that fear was taking you in that direction.
So as my career moved ahead and I took a decision that, okay, if I have to live by me and my wife, then I took a decision and moved to Bombay. And from Bombay, I started working into a different thought process and creating my future and creating myself completely.
So you would have
So
accomplished
this was
many
the first,
milestones in the process.
yes,
Can you
25
tell
years
me
back.
about them?
Yes, I parallelly was very fascinated towards metaphysics,
Okay.
and I learned Reiki before my marriage. When I was young, I was in college, and I used to practice it. And later on, the milestones which I came across were very, very important in my life. Things started coming, universe started unfolding everything in front of me. I started meeting my masters, my gurus, who started teaching me, who started giving me the knowledge, the insights, the wisdom. That what is it? I started looking at myself first
Hmm.
and getting deeper and deeper into the insights of who I am and who I am not.
Okay.
So, so that visibility came maybe around 12 years back from now.
Okay. 12 years back you felt, and how, what was it that drew you? What were the, let's say, in the metaphysical world, what was it that drew you or made you sort of feel comfortable with it, and something that you practiced or moved forward with as a parallel to your corporate life?
So initially, my initial practices were for Reiki, and when I
Mhm.
met my guru in 2010, he started making me understand my energies. he started making me practice on my energy centers, my chakras, and my vortex. And he started making me independent and walking on the path, on the highway. And he made me use my internal GPS to start walking on my path. That was the first step towards it. And parallelly, I started developing myself along with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then started learning reconnection and recollective healing and started practicing it parallelly. And that was the time when I got into invasive practices, non-invasive practices, and worked towards it for the benefit of myself and my people around me.
So you were practicing on others too? You were healing people around you at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And did you, sort of encounter a lot of people with similar emotions that you had been carrying within yourself? Because we get to
Not
speak to very few men talk about it. That's why I'm very grateful that you have come to talk about.
so, yes, people don't talk much about this. And I also was creating a barrier. I also was creating a guard around me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, when I got awareness, I have embraced my vulnerability. And that is the reason why I'm now speaking to you. That is the reason
Right.
why I'm comfortable with myself and who I am.
Okay. So if you put yourself on a scale, of course, it's been a journey now. When you started, on a scale of 1 to 10, where till what level were your fears there? And if you talk about it today, where do you see your fears now?
So when I started, it was 8 out of 10. And
Okay.
I started meeting my masters and understanding and got into light and into awareness. I came around 5, 4, and then I, if I see today, this fear is only the kind of fear which we all have. For example, if we see a lion or a snake in front of us, the immediate reaction what a
Right.
body can get is what
Right.
I'm left with now.
Right.
There is no
Okay.
projection of any emotion which I can, create in my mind and in my existence.
Right. Interesting. Okay. You have been talking about healings that you have been learning and you practice. Tell me a little bit about your healing processes and the practices that you have been into, or are into
So
rather.
all in my life, I have been a learner, and my quest was be a seeker all the time. So whenever I get a chance, I learn from everybody and anybody, and make a point which will work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that if your reality is not working for you, then drop it and create your own. So your reality has to work for it. It cannot be a belief system which is a borrowed thought. It cannot be a system which has been imbibed in you. And I believe that since our birth, somebody has wrote our onion and our subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Initially our parents, then our relatives and friends, then our teachers, then masters and experts, then our society and culture and religion. So everybody wrote the onion, everybody wrote our subconscious except us. So that is the time when I realized this, I took charge of my life and started writing my own values, principles, and preferences.
Okay. Okay.
And I also realized during that time that the healing practices which I'm doing were not really helping me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is around 10 years back when I decided. And being in corporate world and being into a competitive world, I always used to get into the situations where there is a lot of frustration, there is a lot of stress levels. We
Mm.
all feel, we all experience it in a corporate life. And I used to get a lot of trauma and situations were traumatic certain times, which used to give me a lower back spine pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to again get into that fear psychosis. So I was wondering and I was thinking and talking to myself that what is it that I'm not doing right? Even if I am helping somebody else and I'm working for somebody else and they are getting benefited out of my non-invasive practices, what is it that I'm not getting right for myself? That is the time I realized that I am not making myself a vessel. I'm not
Okay.
doing the rain harvesting. When the rainfall starts, and if you don't harvest, it goes down the drain or it gets absorbed in the earth. So
What a
that is the
beautiful
time.
example.
That is the time I realized that I need to become a vessel so that I can harness, cultivate, and create a reservoir for myself, which I
Hmm.
can use it. And during my research, I have figured out that all the fundamental practices had the base of Qigong, which is a
Okay.
6,000-year-old traditional and ancient art.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to get a master in my town where I'm working right now in Mumbai, Master Carlton Hill.
Hmm.
He taught me. He gave me all the learnings and teachings. And in a very different way, he made me learn to understand the energies and to work with the energies and to harness and cultivate the energies.
Hmm.
And that is the changing moment in my life
Okay.
when I cured my lower back bulge. And
Oh,
that is
okay.
L4 and L5. So I completely, I'm done with it. During my medical tests, I came to know that one of my heart valves is not working
Hmm.
properly. It is not opening. And the investigation said that this is not now. This has occurred around 15 years or 20 years back.
Okay.
So no traces of any recent development. So I decided that I'll work everything around me and within me through Qigong. And I practiced Qigong day in and day out and cured myself out of it.
Of the pain and the heart problem?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
I work with clients with substance abuse. And yesterday there is a very good news which came to me that I'm working with a client in US who is fighting to get rid of substance abuse, his tobacco habits, and within 1 week he is out of it, which he was trying to, get rid since years.
And that you
And
did with Qigong or anything else?
I did with Qigong because that is the practice which is very effective.
Mm-hmm.
And though I have learned applied kinesiology, and I have uh, had the opportunity to learn diagnostic subconscious level healing through Atman Parmar, and that is radical
Okay.
healing, radical consciousness. I'm parallelly working with these, um, modalities to create a beautiful basket for me
Mm-hmm.
and creating a harmonized blend which can work for anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, they are interrelated, interdependent, and they work together with me and for my clients.
Yeah, we all know that in the field of metaphysics, it's like the interpretation that you have of each finger. There are fingers, but each is a different size. But they all get collectively to perform a similar kind of role when you want to do anything. So all the practices, all the healing modalities, yes, they can complement each other. That is wonderful. So you have a whole basket full, as you said, and you practice all this. So you are running it completely now, or are you still, balancing corporate as well as your healing
I've
life?
decided to move on with my corporate life, and I have started a wellness institute called Inner Alchemy India. I have my website with the name Inner Alchemy India,
Okay.
and I have two sections in it. One is of courses where I teach Qigong. So people who have decided to, discipline their lives
Hmm.
and work themselves for them and their health and wellness and well-being, they will choose the courses.
Okay.
Whoever is affected with their life issues and not able to address them through a disciplined life to learn something right now, they can choose therapies and I can work with them on. healing therapies.
So you said inneralchemyindia.com.
Yes.
Okay. That's a nice name that you've chosen, Inner Alchemy India. Okay, tell me. Um, Today, now that you're here, what are your future goals?
I don't work with goals anymore. I work with deep purpose. And
Okay.
my purpose is what drives me. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
my life purpose is to proactively radiate love and light with complete inner stillness and joy, to transform lives and to work with people who are into stressful situations. I come across people who are into getting into depression because of pandemic situation,
Mm-hmm.
and that is where I am active right now, and I'm working with them.
Okay. Tell me, Shreyas, this is what you do for others. What are the qualities you love about yourself and why?
I am a learner. I like to learn continuously, and as a student, I am a fool. I don't question my masters, and I take the download directly and first experience it
Okay.
and work around me.
Okay.
So, so that is the quality I like for myself, which is a fastest way to learn.
Right.
And I do not bring the mind in between, which sabotages me. So my master says that mind is a drunken monkey riding a mad horse. So I keep it away, let
Okay.
it ride it in a different path,
Okay.
and that is the thing which I like for myself.
Right. Shreyas, in today's environment that we're all going through, this whole of 2020 has been upside down for everyone. And
Yeah.
the dominant fear, dominant emotion probably is fear for a lot of people. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people are coming to you also to sort that out. Probably you were meant to go through this so that you could help others in a beautiful way. But tell me, what is it that you feel about, in your observation with people as they come or otherwise, a general observation about the whole scenario and how people can help themselves, overcome their fears? How would you help them? How can you tell them? What can you tell them?
What I have realized is pandemic situation is the first time which I have or my forefathers would have experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the same situation for everybody. And the dominant emotion is fear. Again, when I see outside, I see all the birds and animals and plants and trees without any fear, and they don't get affected also. So maybe this virus is only affecting the people who are in need of getting affected.
Mm-hmm.
uh, it is only affecting the humans. But the
Okay.
consciousness is changing completely, because what they are seeing the world around, what they are seeing the planet getting transformed, is helping a lot of people to realize that what they have been doing and what they are supposed to be and do is bringing them in awareness. But at the same time, I see people with old consciousness who are still into the competition mode, who are still into greed and hoarding, who are still comparing, and they are still into that stage where they feel that yes, this is a part-time thing, this is a temporary thing which will get over, and can't get it over unless you get yourself transformed. And transformation means that you are not left with anything what you were.
Right.
You are
True.
transformed means nothing is left in you of your past.
Right.
So unless you transform, things will not change. And I feel that a lot of people require a lot of help here, and a lot of people are losing their jobs, and they are into a situation of flux, and
It's
they
traumatic
are
time
looking.
for a lot of people. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So
So they need help right now, and I feel that we all should, whoever can, or be in a position like me, should go and help them, because their mental balance and emotional balance is very much required now, and to make them conduct, to make them face the life, and not get into any decision which can be fatal for them.
right. So you talked of old consciousness. So basically, you think they are resisting to move towards the new consciousness, or there are people who are aware of it and have already moved, but the people in the old consciousness need to really work on a lot of other issues to move forward, or how would you interpret it?
So during our discourses with my master in Radical, what we have come to light is that old consciousness is the consciousness of lack. And I see that, yes, the previous generation was into a lack consciousness, and they used to create everything through that mentality or thought process,
Mm-hmm.
or like to, build around their lives. But the new consciousness and the children who are right now, grooming themselves up, they are with a new consciousness of abundance. They feel that
Okay.
there is enough for everybody. There is
Mm.
no need to compete, no need to steal, no need to have any greed, and that gives them a lot of compassion towards each other and create coexistence.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, Shreyas. So this was your journey, and you told us so fluidly. It didn't sound like there was any fear, frankly speaking, because you made it sound so fluid and so simple. But yes, thanks for sharing this, because talking about your own fears or going through what you did, experiencing it actually, not going through them, and then choosing, making that option, choice. Either I go this way and succumb to the fear, or I choose a path for myself. And with your interest in metaphysics, I think you've been able to create a balance and was guided by that light, to move towards light of learning,
Yeah,
of seeking, of knowledge and help, right? So that's
everybody has,
great. Yeah.
and I see a lot of people moving away from that path. So if they can be, helped and they can be brought onto their path, that would give them a lot of peace and happiness and joy.
And that you can do through your own website now, which you have started, right?
Yes,
And
that
Inner
I'm.
alchemyindia.com, right?
Yeah, I've registered it with this name.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so tell me, Shreyas, we call our show The Seasons of Life, but it's not just about the seasons. Tell me, where do you see yourself in two ways? Firstly, as a season, and secondly, as learnings from the fears to the spot that you are in now. Two aspects of it.
So recently on my channel, my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel page, I'm working on 5 elements, the
Mm-hmm.
Panchamahabhut. They are wood, then fire, earth, metal, and water. And
Okay.
every element is connected to a yang organ, that is active organ, and a yin organ, that is passive organ. And I have learned that all these seasons are connected with each of the element and each of the organ.
Okay.
So if you ask me what season I am, then I would choose Earth because it is a element where all the elements are connected, and it is a element of grounding. So it is so important that the seasons do not work there. It is in all the seasons. So I choose that for myself, the season of Earth, that is long summer.
Okay. Earth. That's interesting. That's a very intriguing interpretation, and that's because of what you are now. On your YouTube channel, you said you're putting all this, yeah?
On my Facebook page and YouTube channel, you can see all these videos. On my
Okay.
LinkedIn channel also, you can see all these videos.
Okay.
So I just
So,
reached Earth and perform,
yeah.
and I narrate, and I show
Okay.
the performance, how chi flows. I show how the organs can be improved and how the emotions can be, the toxins and emotional toxins can be removed out of organs, and you can bring wellness and well-being for yourself. and how the healing sounds work for you. So all this is a combination of what I practice in my.
So is there any way you can show me as a small demo how it works, you know, this flow of chi that you're talking about?
So it is an energy which is prevalent around the universe. And my practices are based out of quantum field. So quantum field does not have time and space reality. It is something which is, there is no space, there is no time. Where are you right now? Which place you are right now?
Me? I'm in Singapore.
Okay, so I'm in India. So it's quite a distance, but the quantum field will not understand this distance because we work with the energy, and energy is connected to the grid of the earth. So as we have aura around us, a field around us, earth also has a field around us and around the planet. And that is the grid of the Gaia. And we are connected with this grid when we practice. So I can give you a 2 minutes demonstration here. So
sure, I'd love that.
So I would like you to watch at your wrist line, the bracelet line.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that bracelet line, I want you to connect both the bracelet lines, so that is the way you can measure where you are starting from.
Yeah.
And join the hands, join the palms. So tell me which middle finger is smaller than the other finger?
Oh, my right hand middle finger, actually all the fingers are smaller than the left hand.
So so let us work on your right hand. So you can put your left hand down and keep your right hand like this.
Okay.
Okay. So what we'll do is I'll transmit the chi. Okay. For your middle finger right now, and we will experiment a molecular change. That change which will grow the finger. Okay. So let us start. I want you to participate.
You want me to close my eyes or something?
Not necessary.
Okay.
Not necessary. So what I'm doing is connecting with the grid of the earth, connecting with the energy of the creator, and creating a molecular change in the finger so that it grows up towards the ceiling where you are right now.
Feels warm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. So I've already reached you in Singapore. Now you can again match those bracelet lines, and try to see if things have worked for you.
Oh, they're totally equal.
So there is a molecular change in your middle finger, and that is the transmission. So this is how I work on distant healing. So distance healing works on the quantum field. Okay, whether I work with the qigong, whether I work with the energy practices or healing practices, so everything is one. So the practices may be different, the modalities may be different, the way you approach may be different, but yes, within few seconds things can work like this.
So will it remain like this, or what happens?
Now it is based on the intention what you make right now. You want
right now it's okay. It's
shake it off. You can shake it off. So this is how we can work on organs. This is how we can work on ailments. So if it can work like this, it can work for anybody, anywhere.
Well, this is quite interesting. Thank you so much for this demo. I'm sure people who are watching would also be interested to try it out on their own, or maybe come to you and take their help for whatever they need. Yeah?
Absolutely. Most welcome for it.
So again, I'll ask you for one last time. When we talk of fear, again, that fear that was part of your system in the growing years until a certain age of your time, whereby you learned to make it, own it, and project it in a different way, and thereby helping others today to handle their fears. Is there any advice you'd like to give people, who are going through these traumas or who are going through fear all the time?
So it is an emotion which is going to stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
It is part of us. We need to understand to process it. Emotion is energy in motion, and we need to understand it completely. And to understand it, we need to deep dive within ourselves and get into our subconscious that where it is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So is it coming from your future or is it coming from your past?
Mm-hmm.
So balance, what is important, creating a balance of complete you and your practices is very much important. That is what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And create harmony by creating a balance. And balance can only come when you understand the yin yang. In the universe, everything is yin yang, everything is active and passive,
Mm-hmm.
everything is day and light, everything is alkaline and acidic. So it is a combination of both these energies. And
So for us to tell them just, okay, don't succumb to your fears is not enough. For us, it is also to
so
make them show the polarities of what exists, whether it's yin yang or acid alkaline or north south or everything else, which can be converted by themselves to, change their mind through either linking with the subconscious or through the
they can do it
processes that you're
themselves.
talking of.
They can do it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
or they can take help of people like me
Okay,
to create a balance.
right,
And I believe to empower people. I do not make followers so that they can take charge of their lives and they can lead their life comfortably.
right.
So creating myself in everybody is what my emphasis is. That is where I'm coming from. So everybody is welcome to understand.
Thank you so much, Shreyas. That has been wonderful talking to you. And honestly speaking, this has been the first time I've seen a man really open up and talk to us. And I'm really grateful to you for coming for on our show. And I'm
Thank
sure the
you.
audience is going to enjoy it too.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my views and thoughts, and which can help. And this, by this medium, it can reach people and it can help them in many ways.
I'm
And I'm
sure it
hopeful
will.
about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shreyas. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Well, that was Shreyas Trivedi. And I think it has been very interesting talking to him because he told us of certain things that we are not aware of. And the interesting flow of energies, whether it is bioenergy or energy for re-engineering or radical healing, all the processes that he's using in his basket, as he calls it, is a wonderful mix that he can help people. But you out there, you have your own fears. You have your own reasons to keep holding on to those fears. There's no reason. The reason is created by us. We create the reasons for the fear to enter our space. Just try to turn it around. Ask yourself, what is it I can do? If I can't help myself, then go take help from somebody who can help you. There are healers, there are therapists who are all out there helping you and will continue to do so. Do not live in fear. You have only one life. Learn to live it fully. Learn to live it absolutely fruitfully. And make a good basket of life for yourself, whereby you have all the kinds of fruits that you would want to see your life experience. Thank you very much. Signing off and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.